If you bought anything online over the last few years, you've probably seen the option to buy now, pay later.
Splits the cost of your purchase into 4 smaller payments over 6 weeks, interest-free, without fees if you pay on time.
It's a Swedish fintech company that offers buy now, pay later services like Afterpay and has over 90 million global customers.
Klarna's average customer owes it $87 right now. That sounds pretty small. Perhaps a small takeaway order, pretty much nothing. But Klarna has 93 million of these customers. Multiply it out, and the company is sitting on a consumer loan book worth $9 billion. Money owed to it right now in amounts too small for any one borrower to think of as debt. Well, that's the trick. Buy now, pay later was built to feel like the opposite of a loan. No interest, no big number, just 4 easy payments. But underneath the pastel branding, it's still credit, and the amounts earned once you stop looking at them as one purchase at a time are enormous. So let's actually look at it that way. Not as a checkout button, but as debt.
Klarna, smooth shopping.
Klarna is one of the biggest buy now, pay later services in the UK and essentially allows you to defer part of or the whole payment of your shopping to a later date.
We've all seen it, right? You're buying something online, you've entered your card details on the checkout page, and you see that tempting little button that says something like, buy now, pay later.
Get cash back with Klarna.
The average Klarna loan lasts about 40 days and averages $87 per active customer. When you compare that to the average US credit card balance, which is $6,730, on paper, buy now, pay later looks like almost nothing next to credit card. But that comparison is exactly what makes it dangerous. A $6,730 credit card balance feels like debt. An $87 buy now, pay later balance doesn't feel like anything. It feels like a shirt, a dinner, probably a gadget on sale. And here's the truth. Most people don't have one buy now, pay later balance. They have several running in parallel on different schedules from different apps. Klarna, ClearPay, and Affirm. Each individual plan is small enough to ignore. The sum of them isn't. And the scale of the system carrying all of this is not small. Klarna alone processed $105 billion in transactions in 2024. Globally, buy now, pay later transactions volume hit roughly $340 billion in 2024 and is forecasted to pass $565 billion by the end of this year. So, who actually makes money and how much? Here's what the adverts don't say.
Shop smart with Klarna.
In 2024, 99% of Klarna transactions were interest-free. So where does a company built on zero interest lending actually make its money? Klarna brought in $2.8 billion in revenue in 2024, its first profitable year ever, after nearly 2 decades in business, with $21 million in net profit. Of that revenue, about $1.6 billion came from fees charged to merchants and not customers. Late fees added another $254 million, which was roughly about 9% of revenue. This is all from a company whose entire pitch is no fees. Merchants pay for this because it works on them too. Retailers offering buy now, pay later at checkout typically hand over 2 to 8% of the transaction and fees. They pay it because it changes how much people buy. Afterpay reports average order values rising 20 to 40% when it's offered at checkout. Affirm has reported lifts as high as 85%. Now that's the actual mechanism, not a lending company that happens to help you budget, a conversion tool that gets paid every single time the sticker price feels smaller than it actually is. So what is the psychology that makes $87 feel like nothing? There's a reason splitting a payment into 4 pieces changes behavior even when the total is identical. The brain evaluates a £120 purchase and the £30 installment as genuinely different decisions, even though mechanically they're the same commitment made 4 times. Every part of the interface reinforces that gap. Soft colors instead of bank app red, paying free, no big deal, instead of a loan agreement, instant approval instead of a pause to think. The friction that normally makes you hesitate before taking on debt has been now engineered out. And once someone has multiple plans running, the maths get harder and harder to hold in your head. A third of UK buy now pay later users say they struggle simply to keep track of what they owe and when, and not whether they can afford it, just simply tracking it. That's to tell that this isn't operating like a single considered purchase. It's operating like several small disconnected ones, each too minor on its own to trigger real scrutiny. This picture starts to change once you look at what happens when people fall behind. In the US, 47% of buy now pay later users say they paid late at least once in the past year. This is according to LendingTree's 2026 report. This was up 41% in 2025 and 34% the year before. 3 years and 3 increases. Federal Reserve data shows 24% of buy now pay later users made a late payment in 2024, up from 18% in 2023. This was concentrated heavily among younger and lower income borrowers. 32% of 18 to 29-year-olds have missed a payment, compared with 12% of people over 60. Separately, Motley's full 2025 survey found 26% of users regret using buy now pay later once the real cost landed, and 53% admit they've used it for purchases they knew were outside their budget. None of this looks like one bad decision. It looks like a system where the individual unit, which is $87, was never designed to be evaluated against everything else a person owes at the same time.
72% of surveyed consumers want to check out as a guest. They don't want to log in or create an account. So how can you make guest checkout an engine for conversion and not a drop-off point?
The most telling shift isn't in how people are missing payments, it's in what they're financing. LendingTree's 2026 data shows 29% of US BNPL users have now used it to buy groceries, up from just 14% 2 years earlier. And 54% of users say they genuinely need BNPL to make ends meet, not to spread out a treat, but to get through the month. That's not 4 easy payments on a discretionary purchase anymore. That's short-term credit quietly absorbing the gap between wages and the cost of living, wearing the branding of a payment convenience instead of what it actually is. And now, nearly 1 in 5 buy now pay later users report using a credit card to fund their buy now pay later repayments, which means for a meaningful share of users, the interest-free installment plan is itself being financed by a product that actually does charge interest. The 0% label survives the transaction. The 0% reality doesn't actually survive contact with someone who's already stretched. So here's the bigger picture. None of this makes buy now pay later a scam. Most users actually pay on time and they use it exactly as intended. And they honestly never think about it again. Klarna's own numbers back that up. 99% interest free with an average balance of under $100 and the average loan gone in around 6 weeks. But a lending product doesn't need most of its users to struggle in order to be built around debt. It just needs the debt to be small enough and frequent enough that nobody, including the person carrying it, adds it up until it's already several purchases deep. Klarna turned that $87 average balance. It then multiplied it across 93 million people into a $9 billion loan book and its first profitable year in almost 2 decades. That's not an accident of good product design. That's the business model working exactly as it was intended. So, the question isn't whether buy now, pay later is good or bad. It's whether something engineered to never feel like debt should get to escape being evaluated as debt by the person spending and by the person deciding whether they can really afford what's actually 4 decisions and not one. As always, thanks for watching.